And welcome back to another episode of American Hometown, the Quarantine Edition, where we've been sheltered in place for so long that the days of the week don't matter anymore. My name is Zach Wilson, I'm your host. So joining me today is Angela Culver, Media Director at InSync Exotics Wildlife Rescue and Education Center. Thank you for joining me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day out there.
It is.
Some of the big cats are playing. I see one of the guys behind you.
Yeah.
So it's hard to predict because I know I've had cats before. I mean, of course, they've been domestic cats. And I imagine that big cats, domestic cats, they're all kind of similar in that you don't really know if they're going to come out and play or if they're just going to sleep all day. So,
Very true.
so anyway, before I get too far into this interview, I do want to remind everybody to please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And when you do, hit the little bell icon off to the side because you are going to want to get our updates as we go along, because this isn't going to be the format of how these episodes are going to be shot. This is just what we're doing while I'm stuck at home. Angela has the luxury of getting outside. But we are planning to have these shows in a produced format. For those of you who aren't familiar with American Hometown, that's because it's brand new. It's something that we started shooting in early March. And then we all got sent home and had to stop. And so in the meantime, instead of just sitting around wondering what we could do, I started reaching out and asked folks like Angela if they would be interested in participating in this little experiment that I actually saw Mike Rowe did an episode of his show using Zoom or Skype, and I thought, what a great idea. Why can't I do it? So,
right?
Yeah, so without taking up any more time, I'm going to turn over to Angela, and why don't you tell us what InSync is all about?
All right. First off, I want to say thank you for having me on this show, and I look forward to doing the fully produced version once we're all back to normal, whatever that is going to look like on the other side of this.
You and me both.
Right? So I'm the media director here at InSync Exotics, and we are a sanctuary and a rescue facility. And we're also an educational center. So in addition to being able to rescue these exotic cats who have been abused, neglected, mistreated, we also provide public education on the huge problem that is captive ownership of these exotic cats. I'm going to go ahead and address the rather large elephant in the room and go ahead and address Tiger King. I know a lot of people are watching it. There's been a lot of buzz generated. What I'm going to say is this. True sanctuaries do not breed, do not buy, do not sell, do not allow pay-for-play interactions or direct interactions with their animals and the public. So that is how you can tell a true sanctuary from other entities who may call themselves a sanctuary, but really aren't. Okay, so now that's out of the way.
Okay.
We have 75 exotic cats here at InSync. We have lots of different species. We have tigers, we have lions. We do not have bears, but we do have bobcats, cougars, lynx, let's see, ocelots, servals, what else do we have? Cheetahs. So we have a lot of different species here on our property at the sanctuary, and they have all come from rescue type backgrounds. So a lot of them were privately bred, privately exhibited, privately owned. What a lot of people don't realize is that when they go to a place and they have the opportunity to, say, get their picture taken with a tiger cub for $50 or however much they're charging, a lot of times the exhibitor will say, oh, well, this goes and helps animals out in the wild. It helps for conservation. And people think that they're doing a really good thing because they want to help. And that's great. We love that people want to help. However, the reality of that situation is that a lot of these exhibitors they have basically a tiger mill, and they're cranking out cubs as fast as they can and keeping them small. They pull them from their mothers at a very, very early age keep them small, underfeed them, undernourish them so that they can be docile and more handleable for longer. And then once the cub is big enough that it can no longer safely be handled by the public, then it either is sold off to the highest bidder. It is put in there as back in there to further breed and produce more cubs, or it's euthanized. The lucky ones end up at sanctuaries, at true sanctuaries like ours, but not all of these cats are so lucky. So yeah, that's a big education portion of what we do. And a lot of people are shocked and appalled to find out what actually goes on. And they feel terrible. They're like, oh my goodness, I never would have done this if I had known. I feel so bad. Well, that's why we're here, is to educate people. And now that you know better, you can educate others and you can do better yourself. So that's a big reason why we're here.
Right.
So to go back to how we started, in 2000, Vicki Cahey, the owner and founder, was a veterinary technician, and someone had brought their quote unquote pet cougar into her veterinary clinic, and they never came back to get her. So she was like, well, okay, the options for placing this cougar, it's not like, well, somebody just, left a domestic cat, which is bad enough in and of itself. But what do you do with this apex predator who is not supposed to be a pet, but you can't release to the wild because it's imprinted on humans and because it's illegal to do so? So she did some research and found out what it took to be able to take Tahoe home. And so she brought Tahoe home and started caring for her herself. And after Tahoe came another cougar named Ranger. And then came a tiger cub being sold named Kenya. And 20 years later, here we are with 75 cats, and she's helped probably close to 200 cats at this point throughout the years. That's and it's wonderful to see, like, for all of the horrors that you see from situations that these cats come from all of the abuse, like the things that we have seen in rescues is just, it's heartbreaking, and you just cannot imagine how a human with a heart and with a soul and with a conscience could possibly let this happen to these animals, but it does far too often. But to see the kind of conditions that these cats come from, and then to see their personalities start to blossom once they get in a safe environment where they know they're being cared for, they know they're getting a meal every night, they don't have to fight for food, they don't have to fight for resources, for water, for any of that. They have all this room to run and to play and to nap in the sun. It's amazing to watch the transformation, and to see them be able to trust again is just, oh my goodness, like that is the most inspirational thing. And honestly, humans can learn so much from these cats.
Sure. I mean, where you're standing right there it looks beautiful right there. I wanted to find out, so how do you guys find out, how do you find these animals that need rescuing? Are there people that contact you, or do you actively go out and look, or how is that done?
So we find these animals through a variety of ways. There are people who have formerly owned some of these animals who have contacted us saying, hey, this is an animal that I've had, I can't care for it for whatever reason. Or in the case of Lambert, one of our adult male lions, he was purchased by a father out in West Texas for his two small children after they watched Disney's Lion King and wanted their very own Simba. So dad thought, being, coolest dad ever, he's going to go buy them a lion cub, and then realized a little too late that was perhaps not the best idea. So he contacted us and said, can you come get him? Can you come, give him a home? And so we are contacted by private owners who find out about us and want their cats to go to somewhere where they're going to be better cared for than they can provide. We are part of Tigers in America, which is a fantastic organization that does a lot of really, really wonderful work in rescue and in, helping further education and for these big cats. We've been contacted by the USDA. Some people may remember the story of the tiger cub that was smuggled across the border from Mexico in a duffel bag from a couple years ago. So that tiger now lives with us. His name is Kenobi. Oh. And yeah, so he's one of the Jedi boys whose enclosure I'm sitting in front of. And he is doing fantastic now. But we have him and another tiger smuggler who is so named because he was found at the border. They were trying to smuggle him in. And so yeah, we get our animals from a variety of different places, but we're also part of a larger rescue network. And so all of the True Sanctuary owners and Tigers in America and International Fund for Animal Welfare and a lot of these different organizations, we're all in this together, because ultimately the goal is to end the need for sanctuaries like ours. We would love to have to tear down all of our enclosures because there were no more cats that needed help, no more cats that needed rescue. We would love that. We would absolutely love that. But until that day happens, here we are. And there's actually legislation up right now called the Big Cat Public Safety Act that would prohibit anyone from acquiring new animals legally. Of course, there's always people who are going to do things illegally, no matter what you do. Yeah. But it would prohibit anybody from acquiring any new animals, anyone from breeding, buying, selling, things like that. So, that's definitely a way that people can help, is to support the Big Cat Public Safety Act to help end these cats in backyards. There's a statistic that there are more tigers in captivity in the United States than there are left in the wild.
Oh, wow. And
it sounds incredible, but it's true.
Yeah. I had no idea.
So this is a much bigger problem than a lot of people realize. Yeah.
So first of all, I know you guys like to refer to the big cats and the other animals as your guests. So I'm going to try and remember to refer to them as guests. But with those guests, is there a point at which they get released or transferred somewhere else, or is this their permanent home?
This is, once they come to live with us, this is where they stay. This is their home for the longest, healthiest, happiest life we can possibly give them. So yeah, we have transported animals from rescues to other sanctuaries. But any animal that comes here to live with us, they stay here for the remainder of their lives.
I take it because you mentioned something about that they imprint on humans, and it's difficult for them to go back into the wild and do the natural hunting. That would be a big reason why they need to be there, right?
Right. Well, in addition to, so animals like bobcats and cougars are native to Texas. And we're seeing a lot of urban bobcats, which if you have seen a bobcat in your neighborhood, that is awesome. It means you have the world's best pest control, free of charge. Don't worry about it eating your Pomeranian. Just, maybe don't leave it outside for extended periods of time. Don't make your backyard a buffet. The bobcat's just going to do what it wants to do and then move along. Yeah. It does not want to set up house in your backyard. So if you have an urban bobcat, awesome. You are super, super lucky. But cougars and bobcats are native to Texas. All of the other species, we do have one ocelot that their native territory used to extend up into Texas, but no longer does. But for the rest of these guys, they're not native. So lions, tigers, obviously they're not native to Texas. So it is illegal to release any animal without a permit. We have done, there are places that do wildlife rehabilitation. So for animals, bobcat kittens that are found things like that. They're able to rehabilitate them, keep them from being imprinted on humans, and are able to safely release them. We've done that a couple of times before, but it's not our main thing. Is we are a sanctuary, so we do have other rehabs that we work with anytime somebody brings us one or we find one.
Okay.
But so for a lot of these, people are like, well, why can't you just take the tigers, and release them back out into the wilds? Well, there's several reasons why you can't do that. One, these tigers are habituated to humans. They see us as a source of their food. We bring them their dinner every night.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to hunt. They haven't spent all of those years with their moms learning the ins and outs of hunting, what to look for, what not to look for, all of that. Plus, say you drop one of these guys into the wild, you don't know, that may be somebody else's territory. That may be inhabited by a couple of different animals. So you are dropping a foreigner in, and there's going to be a fight.
Yeah.
And so you're basically just setting them up to fail. And that doesn't even take into account, these tigers are what we call generic tigers. So because they've been bred in captivity for so many generations, we have no idea what their actual DNA makeup is. Are they an Amur tiger? Are they, Malayan? Are they Sumatran? We have no idea. So, so that's another reason why when people say, oh, well, this goes for conservation, when you come give your money to take a picture with this cat, no, it's a generic tiger. It's not going, it's conserving nothing. And that's sad, but it is the reality.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I would imagine too, if you just drop them out and they're not, part of the process of growing up as an animal in the wild is not just that hunting that's taught from parent to child, but it's also the self-defense. So if they've not had that, to your point before, if they've not had that training, that natural training, you just drop them out in the wild and they're going to lose that fight probably more than likely.
Yeah. I mean, take your average human, your average suburbanite, drop them off in the middle of the woods and then go, good luck, have fun surviving. How well do you think that human's going to do? Not so good. They're going to eat something they shouldn't have eaten. They're going to not eat something that they should eat. They're not going to know how to fend for themselves, how to provide themselves shelter. It's the same basic principles.
I mean, I'm sure, you watch the show Survivor and you just think, oh man, that was easy. Sure. Yeah. Whatever.
Right.
I can do that.
No, I don't want to do that. I'm good.
No. I like being able to go to the store and get my food. So I wouldn't.
It's nice. I mean, it would obviously be very beneficial to know how to be able to forage and do all of that. And I'm working on learning some of those skills, but it's one of those things it's nice to know that you need it if you like, they have it if you don't, or if you need it, but you don't really want to need it.
Yeah. No, I don't have the patience to start a fire or anything. I just, give me a match, give me, something. I'm good, but
right.
But so you guys are still working. You guys still have a job to do, taking care of your guests. Why don't you tell everybody what you guys are doing during this period?
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what's going on outside, rain, sunshine, sleet, snow, ice, whatever. Bottom line is the cats still need to eat, and the cats still, they're still cats. They still need to be cleaned up after. All of the enclosures get cleaned every single day. The cats are fed every night. We have volunteers who come in here and they spend their day preparing food. And every cat, there's a gigantic board in the commissary. Every cat gets a certain poundage of food. Some of them may get supplements and medications in their foods, just depending on what they need. A lot of our older cats will get joint supplements just to help them stay comfortable longer. Multivitamins, all kinds of stuff. So that is happening day in, day out. It doesn't matter what's going on outside these gates. The cats still need cared for. So we're still here. I'll show you, I have my mask. So we are practicing a lot of, safety for volunteers. And there's been a news story about a tiger and some other big cats in the Bronx Zoo. The tiger tested positive for COVID-19, and they're all recovering, though. From everything that we've heard, they were fairly mild symptoms, thankfully. But we are taking extra precautions with the cats, making sure to wash our hands, sanitize. We have bleach dips outside every enclosure. So anytime somebody has to go in an enclosure, sanitize your hands, do a bleach dip on your shoes, on your feet. And then, so, we're doing as much as we possibly can. That way we're also, not making contact, like not coming close to the cats. And of course, if anybody has felt ill or has been around somebody who's sick, obviously don't come in. Whoever's here will pick up the slack. So yeah, we're taking a lot of extra precautions, but because of all of this, we're normally open to the public on Saturdays and Sundays. Yeah. And right now we're not able to do that. And because we're a 501c3, because we rely solely on donations, that hurts. Sure. Fact of the matter is these cats still need fed, and that's $20,000 a month just in food.
Right. And so, I would imagine that you guys also provide them with veterinary care and things of that nature too. So that's not cheap. Yeah.
No. Yeah. We have an on-site veterinary clinic, a full-time veterinarian on staff. We have technicians, we have full-time keepers. So, we have a lot of volunteers, but we do still have paid keepers that are here working with these cats every single day. And so, yeah, our largest event of the year, our most profitable event of the year is the Easter egg hunt, and we're moving that virtually. So hopefully, hopefully that's not too big of a hit for us, but yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: given the current circumstances, what's the best way that people can continue to support you guys? I know that you're working with some local grocery stores and some other retail. Why don't you tell everybody how they can help you?
Yeah, absolutely. So in addition to the donate buttons on our Facebook page and on our website, which is InSyncExotics.org, that's going to be a great way for people to find out how to help us. So we are partnered with Amazon Smile. So if you go to smile.amazon.com and select InSync Exotics as your charity of choice, a small portion of your purchase goes to directly to us. It doesn't cost you anymore, but it does help us out. And I know a lot of people are ordering a lot of things off of Amazon right now.
Yeah.
So that is a big way to be able to help us out. We do have community partners through Kroger and Tom Thumb where you can sign up. It's basically the same type of thing, where a small portion of your grocery shopping will go to help InSync Exotics. And that you can find at our website, InSyncExotics.org, under ways to help. And so that's definitely, a big help for us. And just, in addition to our donate buttons on our website and on our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is very, very active with lots of pictures, lots of videos. So
yes,
I'm trying to do Facebook Live posts every Friday so that people can, see the cats. A lot of people are very, very, very connected to these cats. They love the cats just as much as we do. And it's hard for them to not be able to come out here and, spend a couple of hours sitting next to their favorite big cats on some of the benches that we have out here and just, spend some time just with the cats. So I'm trying to do Facebook Live posts every Friday. So those will appear on our InSync Exotics Facebook page.
Thank you again, Angela, for doing this, getting out there, showing us what a beautiful place you have. And
absolutely.
I really can't wait to get out there myself
Yeah.
and start shooting and do this episode the way we wanted to. Um,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, yeah. In the meantime, everybody, I want to just encourage you to remember to support your local businesses and support your local organizations like InSync. They need your help if you can. It's very important to help them out. You can see why with what these guys are doing. And please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're not going to want to miss when we finally get out of our house and do this the right way.
Agreed. Agreed.
So enjoy the cats.
All right. Thank you so much, Zach. You stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yes, likewise. Likewise. All
Yeah.
right. Thanks a lot.